Hello students, everyone's favorite TA here, Victor, to bring you some more information about the next round of the Stukent Simulation. So I hope all of you had a good experience during round 1 and you were able to purchase market research that is going to be useful throughout the rest of the simulation. Now focusing on round 2 of the simulation, you will be selecting the product that you are going to be using throughout the rest of the simulation, as well as the positioning statement and the price for that product. So once you've selected the product and the positioning, both of those things will be fixed. However, for the price, you will be able to adjust this in later rounds of the simulation. So let's take a look at the Stukent simulation and let's walk through some of the best practices for this round of the simulation. Alright, so in round 2 of the simulation, you'll get to a page that looks like this, and I highly recommend that before going to the positioning, product, or pricing, you watch this scenario memo and you read what Stukent has written here, as well as in the memo tab. Now, before we get started looking at each of the activities, I'll just walk through a little bit of the interface to show you guys how you can access the market research in earlier rounds. So to do so, all you'll need to do is click this research button here, and you will be able to see your surveys as well as the research that you have purchased. In addition to that, you can navigate to earlier rounds through the following tab as well. Now, moving over to the positioning of the product in round 2. So here we're going to again be selecting what we want to say about our product for all future rounds of the simulation. So we want to make sure that this aligns with our brand values and our target demographic as much as possible. So when we're building this positioning statements, we see the following interface where we should select who the target audience is and their interests, as well as the type of target audience. So just at a high level here, if we just jump over to the target demographic, we see that they're 30 to 39 years old and that the name is Soccer Mom Sam. So clearly here, there's some information that you could use to make an optimal positioning statement. Now, in addition to that, our target demographic says that they are constantly on the go, married, and fashion conscious as well. So some of that information can be used when selecting interests, or alternatively, if you asked questions in your survey about interests, then some of that information will be useful during this round of the simulation. So you should look to that market research when selecting the following of your positioning statement here. So now let's jump over to the product selection. Again, here you will see the different colors of bags available. You will see the sizes and materials, as well as cost and consumer testing feedback. So here I highly recommend to also visit your survey. Potentially you may have asked questions about color or size of bag. Both of those things are important. However, if one of them doesn't align perfectly with a product here, you should just simply go to the next best option available. So hopefully you guys have a good understanding of what size and colors that the target audience might want, as well as the material from that market research. And I recommend that you make this decision based off of those criteria, and that will put you well on your way to having a good product to use throughout the simulation. Now, when we move over to the pricing, I'll just need to select a product here. Now, when we move over to the pricing, it's really important that we select a good starting price here to have a good product throughout the simulation. Now, once again, there is some useful information in the different reports on this. So, for example, I believe one mentions about a median price for mid to high range bags. So that information can be useful for you. And once again, I want to remind students that we are starting with an initial price here. So we don't want to go too high with this price. I'd recommend definitely don't go over $200 in price. That will be a little bit too high for the initial product. However, this will also depend on what product you actually selected. So depending on whether it's leather, fox leather, that will all factor into the price here that you actually select. But once again, we definitely want to be higher than about $75 and likely lower than $200 for this initial round of the product pricing. So with these tips in mind, I hope you all can have a successful round in the second Stukent simulation, and we look forward to your participation in the future rounds of the Stukent simulation. Thanks.